Halo currently has 99 problems, probably more than 99 problems at the moment with 343 and Halo Infinite, but Halo 3 sure as hell ain't one. Oh, wait, there is a problem with Halo 3 Master Chief Collection on the PC, and that is the controller versus mouse and keyboard debate. Well, this will not be an investigation of the ethics of the controller with aim assist versus mouse and keyboard. I will say that 343 should definitely, at the bare minimum, have a controller queue with aim assist and a mouse and keyboard without aim assist queue that you can just you don't even have to think about it. If you have a controller in your hand, you're using it, it flips you. I understand that there are issues that comes with that, but especially the biggest one is fragmenting the community, which we don't want to do. So honestly, maybe 343 should just get rid of aim assist altogether on PC. That's a whole nother discussion that we're realistically not getting into. No, this is me playing Halo on PC for well over 100 hours, with 40 hours in Halo 3 using a combination of both controller and mouse and keyboard combined. Which is better? Which did I find better? And how does it all shape out? Is there a definitive answer? Well, before we get into it, please consider subscribing. We have another Halo video coming in the near future, as well as our Halo Infinite discussion with the group. We have a 30-minute video where we really kind of pick it apart with 4 people. So if you love this content, consider subscribing. If you like this video, throw it a like, and let me know down below if you are a controller or keyboard and mouse player. So recently, just to start things off, being fully transparent, I have switched fully to controller after experimenting with both, having nights flipping back and forth, nights dedicating myself to one versus the other. Keep in mind, I did play Halo 3 on the Xbox 360, so that is how I've originally played the game. Let's start with the pros, of which there really only is one, but that one is actually a pretty big deal, especially in Halo 3, which is a projectile-based game, not a hit-scan game, so there are actually bullets flying, and you have to kind of lead your shots. The pros are there's aim assist, and that aim assist is fierce. It is disgusting, and it is fire. It will lock you onto a target, and it will snap you onto a target, and it will do a damn well job. You can basically have your not touching any sticks. If a warthog drives by, your controller will actually start to auto lock onto the warthog and follow it for a decent amount of time. This aim assist is vicious and brutal, and like I said earlier, in a projectile based game where you have to lead your shots, especially where Halo guns fire stupid slow for some reason, the controller really does help. I found in Halo 2 Anniversary I actually preferred keyboard and mouse with the hit scan. This is a very, very different story. That aim assist is fierce, but that aim assist on controller comes with a lot of cons, and a lot of the cons can somewhat be compensated based on how high you want to set your sensitivity levels. First thing I want to talk about is grenades. It's much harder to kind of knee-jerk reaction grenades. Mostly, a lot of this boils down to you don't get aim assist for a lot of the actions that I'm talking about. Grenades are one of them. You don't get aim assist for grenades, and why would you? That doesn't really make sense, but throwing grenades is much harder to pinpoint things. I find that with a high sensitivity keyboard and mouse, I'm able to really get the perfect bounce on grenades, get the perfect angle on grenades. And you can really use that on keyboard and mouse to compensate. If you have perfect grenade throwing on keyboard and mouse, then you can just get that last headshot to close out the stock. But with grenades on controller, much more clumsy. I find sticking to be very hard, which in general I find to be fairly easy in Halo 3. Next are those 50-50 melee scenarios. You know, when you're really close to a guy, you both melee each other, your shields are both down, and it kind of comes down to, you know, do you back up and do you get that headshot, or do you just keep spamming melee? A lot of times in those situations, people decide to jump, people decide to try to circumvent you, run behind you, move at all, and it's much harder to track people, especially if they jump Depending on the sensitivity of your controller, you might not actually be able to track them fast enough, and they might just have a clear advantage and be able to just clock you. Next is very similar, quick close movement. If you are playing the radar game and you're really close to someone, you're just kind of circling each other. If they try to play any weird games like jumping over you or just quickly trying to corner you, depending on, and I will just say I keep my controller sensitivity set to 4. If your controller sensitivity isn't high enough, they might just be able to run circles around you and you might not be able to follow them. Keyboard and mouse, you can realistically snap to any position 360 degrees much faster and track any opponent. Next is sniping. Sniping, the aim assist is there, it just doesn't hit quite the same. It's much more loosey-goosey, which basically means you're going to be relying on your thumb to get snipes, to the point where I've basically decided that I am pretty much going to be switching to keyboard and mouse on the fly. That is something that I do kind of don't like about Halo Master Chief Collection on PC. You can just put your controller down and start flipping around on your keyboard and mouse. I think for sniping, it's realistically better to use the keyboard and mouse, and I'm experimenting with actually flipping between the two. And the last point that I want to make is your theoretical best. What is the theoretical best player in Halo 3? It is a keyboard and mouse player. The best player in Halo 3 has their sensitivity set to whatever they want, and they can, it's pretty much objective that keyboard and mouse is more accurate for clicking heads, if you will. Boom, headshot. But controllers are much, much less accurate, and if you had a perfect Halo player, then you would be able to click those heads much better than you could with an aim-assisted controller. Are most of us that perfect player? No, but I thought I would mention, I'm pretty sure, I haven't done extensive research, but I have done some digging on the Reddits and whatnot. Pretty sure mid to high level Halo 3 competitive players are on keyboard and mouse at this point. So theoretical best, might be good to stick with keyboard and mouse. In conclusion, you kind of have to work with your playstyle to decide if you want keyboard and mouse. I personally have decided to stick with controller because of the aim assist. That being said, I am a very grenade heavy player and I'm a very melee heavy player, and the aim assist was so good that I decided to basically adapt and outweigh those pros and those cons and learn over time, and it has worked out for me personally. So I would definitely recommend experimenting. But basically, something to keep in mind is you can overcome a really good keyboard and mouse player with that aim assist, and vice versa. You can really easily overcome a controller player if you're a keyboard and mouse player. If you notice that they're basically just getting headshots from halfway across the map, well, then exploit some of those other things. Use your grenades. Use your close combat. Use those 50-50 melees that you get yourself into. Use sniping, and I think you will come out on top against a controller player. Just adds to the meta, really. And, that's all for me, guys. Let me know down below, like I said, if you are a keyboard and mouse player, or if you are a good old-fashioned controller player. That is all for me, and I will catch you next time.